This is me leaning in to have a conversation with you guys. This is an intimate conversation. So, you have 35 to 40 grand to spend on an SUV. You want something nice.
Ooh, this is nice.
Maybe European.
Nice carry-all.
It's European.
Maybe luxury. You want something that looks expensive, maybe? Safe, has all-wheel drive, a third row for sure, and is easy, comfortable to drive and live with. You also want something with like a lot of features. You love tech, and you don't want something that's like a stripped down base model car, right? So at about 40 grand, what can you afford? Let's look at the options here. So you get something pretty low mileage, like 20 to 50 grand used. But a lot of the times those cars, they're the base models. They may have some warranty left. They're not exactly well equipped. It does the job. It's good enough. It's satisfactory. On the other side of the spectrum, you have a luxury SUV. A lot of times you can get them fully equipped, fully optioned out with everything that you've always wanted. Things like heated and ventilated seats, maybe massage seats, maybe just soft plush leather, panel roof, 360 surround view cameras, driver assist aids. Actually, everything has driver assist these days, but extra driver assist aids, a big screen and fit and finish that's just really nice. Everything is soft touch all the way around. A smooth drive, something that is so comfortable and that just melts the miles, and you could take on a multi-hour road trip and feel refreshed when you get out of the vehicle. Those are just a couple things. That's what you get with the luxury cars. You get something that's tuned from the factory to be not only a better driver's car, but a comfortable car. You kind of get the best of both worlds in a sense of not only is it a little bit more fun to drive because it probably has a little bit more power, but it handles a little bit better and it's comfortable. Because usually it's either it handles well or it's very comfortable to drive in the city. But a luxury car kind of combines all together. What type of individual are you? For the conservative person, the obvious choice is not the luxury vehicle. If you're concerned about how much things cost to fix or maintain, or if you're extremely worried about reliability, then luxury is probably not for you, unless you're gonna get a Lexus or maybe like an Acura luxury SUV. Those are probably the few exceptions to the rule. On the flip side, you can get an extended warranty for a couple $1,000s over what you're paying, and that would give you a much more enjoyable next 4 to 5 years of car ownership, as far as not having to worry about things break down. So my wife and I, we both work at home, so whenever we get and drive a car, we want to make those miles enjoyable and as comfortable and luxurious and as good as possible, because it puts everything at ease. You only live once. So I'm going to give you guys a tour of my Volvo XC90, why I chose it, and what it's been like to own it for the past 18 months, and what I expect may be an issue in the future, and maybe fair warning to anybody looking to purchase a Volvo XC90. And yeah, let's get into it. Man, this car is so dirty. XC90. Alright, so we're going to take this car on the road, and I'm just going to talk about it, what it's like to live with this thing. Is it still reliable? How many miles it has? Why I chose it over other cars, and why I think this car is actually the best value luxury SUV that is older than 2020. So like anything from like 2014 to 2020, why I think this is the best buy for that year luxury SUV time frame. So actually that year 2014 to 2020 and under 40 grand. So let's take this thing on the road and talk about it. All right, so before I start the car, right when I got into it, if you lock the car, let's say my wife locks the car and then I unlock it and I get into the car. So if I unlock it, it knows that, hey, Sin just got into the car, and it loads up my profile. So it would adjust the seating position to me. It doesn't adjust this thing because this thing is manual. So this is old school. This is one of the things for how much this car was brand new, 73 grand. Having a manual adjusting column, and you could telescope too, it's kind of weird. Most cars in this bracket of vehicle, class of vehicle, has an automatic adjusting steering wheel. Not a big deal. Less things to break. I don't really care because I adjust it once and it's quick and I'm ready to go. And then a couple things light up around the cabin, and that's it. It's a little stiff. This is one thing that's nice. So the 2016 model, it didn't have wireless car charging, but they make these things, and then you could have wireless charging for your phone. And what's also nice is my phone fits perfectly in there. This is an old XS, and it fits in there, and I can fit it in there, and it fits nice snugly when I close the cup holder. Well, that's pretty cool, huh? And yeah, so I'm gonna start this thing. There's no key slot here. It's not like your traditional start-stop where there's a button. On this car, there's an engine turny thingy deal right here. So
roads in western Ukraine.
Pause that. And on this, I guess you could call it where your shifting column, gear adjusting, starting, everything is here. It's just automatic parking brake, your drive mode selector, and standard shifter, which if you get like the T8, you don't get the standard shifter. You get like a little, electric shifter. It's different. But on the T6 and T5s, you get a standard shifter. One thing that I think is nice, and I'm gonna turn off the AC here. One thing that I think that was nice about this car is that this transmission is an 8-speed transmission that is shared. Basically, it's the same transmission that's found in the RX 350. So for a European car to have a Japanese built transmission that has a good track reliability track record, yeah, I'll take that. I'll take slightly slower shifting versus like the German cars for something that's more reliable. So let's take this on the road, pop it in reverse, and as soon as I pop it in reverse, the backup camera shows
There
up.
is a new parking surveillance video. Please open the gallery to view it.
So now that one thing that kind of sucks is you could only pick the backup camera, or you could pick the surround view. You can't have both on the screen at the same time. And a lot of modern SUVs, you can have both. What's nice though is the resolution's amazing. What's kind of weird that I'm noticing is the color temperature is slightly different for each camera. I guess they just auto white balance each camera individually versus having the white balance the same on all four. So bizarre. It is what it is. Yeah, that's it. Let's take this on the road. All right. Okay. So this is something that kind of irks me. So the home link system on this sucks. You have to get so close to the garage door for it to work. On a previous vehicle we had, we could basically aim and get the garage door to open from like 3 houses down. My BMW, I have to be pretty close to the driveway. This one, I have to be in the driveway in order to open and close it. So that kind of sucks. You may hear the engine. So when the engine's cold, and this one's not too cold, we drove it like an hour ago, so it's actually pretty warm. But when the engine is cold, it's pretty loud. So I don't know if you guys can hear the engine, but it's fairly audible, and it's not a good sounding engine. You know, it's your standard 4-pot sounding engine. It doesn't rev high, just a 4-cylinder engine tuned from the factory for everyday drivability. So low down power, doesn't rev high. And for an SUV, it doesn't really matter. Does it have enough power to get around? Does it have enough power to pass? Yes, and that's all that matters for me. You know, the person that's driving this primarily is my wife. This is pretty much her car. I mean, this is her car. And when I was shopping for a luxury SUV, I cross-shopped this car, the F15 X5, and the Audi Q7, MDX, all the standard stuff, Lexus GX, which I actually really like, but I like it for, not because it's comfortable, because it is comfortable. One with air suspension is pretty comfortable, more because it's reliable. It feels like an old car, it drives like an old car, but I guess that's part of its charm, because it's pretty much like an old school Land Cruiser. So when it's starting off, and this is something that I noticed with this model year, the 2016 versus like the 2017 and up. Actually, I didn't drive a 2017, but I heard, and I had to discover this myself, because when I test drove the 2020, I was like, oh, it's pretty insulated. And when I test drove the 2016, I noticed more engine noise, and apparently they put more insulation between the firewall. So if you're buying a 2016, you get a little bit more engine noise. Of course, when you're cruising around town and once the engine's warmed up and once you're on the highway, you don't really notice, because everything gets pretty quiet at the point. And of course, once you turn on the radio, we don't have the radio on, so I hear everything. So right now, the car has 72,000 miles, and as far as squeaks and rattles, it's fairly well built. No squeaks and rattles to speak of. Everything is nice and tight. Reliability. Should we talk about reliability? That's probably something that everybody is not sure of, because this engine is a brand new engine, and that's one of the appeals of this car. So when they built this car, this was the first of their SPA platform, and they spent over $1 billion on this. Basically, they were given a blank check by Geely, Chinese company, to do whatever, right? So the Swedes, they spent it on developing this platform, and they developed a modular engine, and this modular engine is the first of its kind in this car specifically. So the supercharged and turbocharged 2-liter 4-cylinder, pumping out 316 horsepower, something like that. So as far as like long-term reliability, you're basically getting the first of it. And there was a fix. Apparently they changed the pistons in some of the newer ones. So the 2016s of all of them may not be the most reliable of the SPA engines, but as far as I know, as far as I've read, most people don't have any major issues with them. A select few have had some catastrophic catastrophic failure and basically had to have an engine replacement. But some of the signs were excess burning of engine oil. Knock on wood, fortunately this car has not had any of those issues that I know of. We've had it now for a year and a half, so we put 12,000 miles on it. Got this thing when it had 60,000 miles. Got an extended warranty, and so far so good, kind of. We had some electronic stuff fixed and updated. The sunroof stopped working. Apparently the car forgot that it had a sunroof and it just stopped. I thought it was a switch. Went in and they said that oh hey, apparently your computer didn't know that you had a sunroof, so it just stopped working. Okay. Extended warranty doesn't cover programming, so we had to pay $300 out of pocket to fix the sunroof and to get our sunroof back. So out of pocket expenses for this car so far, out of warranty work, sunroof $300, and fortunately, knock on wood, that is the only thing that we've had so far. Had this updated with Pilot Assist version 2, so that allows me to have stop and go, hands-free, I wouldn't say hands-free driving, but you know, automated highway pilot driving system, whatever, up to like 85 miles an hour. And I thought it was 75 or 80, but this goes up to 85 without me having to, without it stopping. So it'll drive cruise control 85 and do lane steer and all that stuff. Yeah, so pretty good on that. And we paid, I think, $400 for that update. We don't have Apple CarPlay. That's something that's probably $500 out of pocket if you wanted to get it. We didn't care for it. All we really care for is Bluetooth, and it has a pretty good navigation system that has free updates, mind you. So if you buy this car, you could just download those updates for free and update that navigation system, which is very good, by the way. So you know, when you're going in there and you want to search something, just search it, boom, pick the destination, you're gone. You're there. You're going there. So gotta applaud them for that. You know. Everybody else basically charges for map updates. Volvo does not. So, yeah. So, just aside from that, the only thing that I'm concerned about with this car is the air suspension. So this car has literally every feature. This has the air suspension, you know, the accessory, the tow package, the 22-inch wheels, the booster seat, you name it. Inscription decked out to the nines, T's, whatever, however the expression goes. But this thing is fully accessorized, and the four-corner air suspension is something that I'm a little bit concerned about, just because air suspension tends to, I mean, shocks go out. So air shocks will go out, all shocks will go out, and that is something that's not covered under warranty, and that is also something that's really expensive. Now, what's nice about buying an OEM one is once you buy it and have it installed, you get a lifetime warranty off of Volvo parts. I don't know if that has to be dealer installed, probably does, but it is warranted for life after you replace it. So yeah, so let's talk about everyday driving about this car and why I chose it over some of its contemporaries. When I drove the X5, and I've driven, you know, different models of the X5, the non-M Sport, the M Sport, what I always noticed was it drove big. It felt heavy and it drove big, and that's what I didn't like about it. I mean, it drove well, but it felt like a big car. this car is massive, but it doesn't feel massive, if that makes any sense. And that's what I like about this car, is it's incredibly refined, and it doesn't drive as big as it really is. Almost kind of like MDX. Like MDX has that similar feel. It doesn't drive as big as it really is. Of course, you know, handling, dynamics, and everything like that, you know, the X5 takes it. But for this type of vehicle, it doesn't really matter. It's a family hauler. And also, we wanted a third row, and the X5, we found the third row sucks on the X5. And I think it's because it's designed to be a 2-row SUV, not a 3-row SUV. So they didn't really care to make it a really good 3-row SUV. So really, that marked it off the list. And we were so close to buying it too, because we had a deposit on one, and we were gonna go with it. And then test drove this car, completely changed our minds on it, and we were like, this is the car. The other one that we really liked was the Audi Q7. Fantastic car, drove amazing, loved the interior, but it wasn't as pretty, and probably would have been more reliable, to be honest with you. And what really, I guess, tilted the decision towards the Volvo was we knew that this was the safest vehicle for the family. So it was pretty much a wash between the two vehicles, but this was the safer vehicle. And for me, I'm willing to sacrifice the reliability aspect of a car just to have the safety, the peace of mind that if my family was out and they were to get into an accident, even if it is marginally more safer, you know, that to me was worth it. You know, this car was the safest vehicle in 2017 and 2018, the safest vehicle in the world. It was given that title, and this car is basically the same as like the 2021 model of this vehicle, and that meant a lot. And Volvo's always been known to make the safest vehicles, and this introduced a lot of things, and how it drove, how it's just different from everything else that you see on the road, and the safety aspect of it. To me, that made the decision for us, and that is basically why we went with this car. And it had all the features. We found one with literally every feature that we wanted. The only feature that this doesn't have over the Audi Q7 is the third row. You know, it has the automated buttons where you pull the buttons in it, and it lifts the seats. But other than that, this car drove just as well. And you know, in my opinion, I think it looks better, and it gave us a little bit more features. Actually, we like this infotainment system better than the 2017 Audi Q7. But the Audi Q7 interior is actually nicer. That's the reason why we went with this car over all the other ones. And the MDX just felt old. Now, the infotainment system on this car feels old now. A lot of people complain that, oh, it's not fast enough. It takes 15 seconds to boot. I mean, that really didn't matter. If you don't have 15 seconds of patience to get your car moving, you have issues. This car had everything. Every feature that you could possibly want. This car had, for a car in this range, you know, 2015 to 2020, things really got technical and actually, I would say, pretty good after 2020. That's when a lot of new cars came out, just chock full of amazing features. But this car, for me, for the price that I was willing to pay, this car had every feature that you could possibly want.
So that sums it up. I love and appreciate this car the more and more I drive it. I never cared to look at Volvos, but I kept seeing them on the road, and I thought they were worth checking out. Is this the most reliable car? Probably not. But I've yet to experience anything worth noting. If you need that extra peace of mind, you can always purchase an extended warranty. And the best extended warranty that I think is out there is Endurance. They're a bit more expensive, but they cover, you get a plan that basically covers everything. So to end this, I want to say, if you're looking for a used 3-row luxury SUV, this Volvo XC90 is the best all-around package for the mid-30s to 40s price range. If you think there's a better option, let me know in the comments. Did I make the wrong investment? Also let me know. Thanks for watching, and if you want to see how this ownership experience continues or ends with me, subscribe and I'll keep you guys posted. Sound system, the Byron Wilkins sound system, if you get it, which I recommend you don't even look at the ones without the Byron Wilkins sound system. That is a must-have. The standard system, it says Harman Kardon on it. It's a terrible system, doesn't sound good. I'll try to strive for the Byron Wilkins. In fact, they say that this is, even today, the best sounding sound system that you could find in an SUV, or one of the best sounding. So the Byron Wilkins, brand new, it's like a $3,000 option, but a lot of used XC90s have the feature. I love it. I think it is a go. So the inscription over the Momentum. The inscription has a leather dash. So far, it's holding up. The R design, it's different seats. The inscription's got like really soft leather, and the seats are really designed for long, comfortable drives. I like it. I go with the inscription. Also, the inscription gets you the nice open pored wood, and it's not glossy. I think it looks good. If you could spring for the inscription, get the inscription. A lot of the inscriptions have the Byron Wilkins sound system, so you'll probably get everything that you want in the car. I love the simplicity of the design. I love how easy it is to turn on pilot assist and to change the distance. I love how easy it is to go into my navigation and go take me home. Boom, boom, done. Take me home, and I just press that button and I'm ready to go. This it could be better compared to some of the contemporaries, but I like it. We have XM radio. I love how easy it is to XM. I could turn on cooled and heated seats at the same time. I love obviously the 360 camera, and just everything about this car so far I really appreciate.